Good morning and welcome to another episode of Sunscreen Saturday. Today I am bringing to you an expensive one, Lot Drugstore HydroPeptide. This is an SPF 50. There's no pluses on it because this is American and this is a, not chemical, brain. This is zinc and titanium dioxide. I don't remember the percentages, and I've seen it actually in two different places at two different percentages. Not sure what to say, but I believe there is more zinc in here than there is titanium. I also believe I have a sensitivity to zinc because the one sunscreen that I love that is only titanium, I have no problem with. But it could just be the formulation, the other things in there. This is not my first bottle. This is my second bottle. And it's expensive. And I'm one of those really weird people. If I buy something expensive, I don't use it because I want to save it. I know, it's strange. So it took me a long time to go through the first one. And it was purple, which I kind of dug. And when I say purple, I mean a lilac. It was a pastel purple. But if you have sallow skin, every little bit would help, and lavender is known to help with sallow skin. But this one is not. This is just white. They also have one that is tinted, but I find everything that I've tried that is tinted turns absolutely orange. It starts out so nice. It's like so much potential, and 4 minutes later, I'm orange. So this is white. I'll show you a little bit about it. One thing about this, I did find it to be a little drying, and because I microneedled a couple of days ago, I'm already feeling a little bit dry. So I put on just 2 drops of oil, put them on my hands, and patted that on top of everything else, just to give me a little more moisturization. Because when you do microneedling, you're actually kind of taking your barrier to task. It's really in a distressful place. Normally hydration would be what I want. Actually, I probably want both, but I've already hydrated as well as I can. So a quarter teaspoon are right here, kiddos. This is a pump. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I know it looks like it's going over, but I'm going to kind of hit this. And that's about it. So if you do not want to get a teaspoon out, your teaspoon set, 8 pumps is going to do it for you. Now, I said that I did use this before. It was a long time ago. And the reason I didn't buy it again is because it is pricey and because I probably found it drying. It doesn't go on drying. It goes on nice. It feels nice. Compared to the drugstore for sunscreens I've tried, this is 1,000 times more workable. But remember, we're doing a quarter teaspoon for face and neck only. We're not supposed to do the chest. That would be more. So we have to kind of see how that works. If we put on the full amount to get the coverage, the SPF coverage that is on the label. I mean, when you think about it, many sunscreens aren't bad if you don't put enough on. Okay. It really takes a while to rub this in. I don't think I'm really having a lot of luck getting that to really work in and dissipate. Somebody said to me, please do your eyes. The reason I don't do my eyes is because they're so drying. I know that I should. Absolutely. And you should. Please do. You know what I mean? But for me, because my under eyes are such a mess, I just can't add to it by putting on something that's super drying. Now this is a teeny bit clumpy. So I'm not going to go for perfection. I'm just going to make sure everything is covered, and then I will step away and let it sink in and see what happens. But I do want to share with you a little trick. I think I've shared this before, but I have this MD Solar little sample, and I have had the full bottle before, and I have to say I had it in tinted. It's very dimethicone-y, which makes me very uncomfortable in the summertime, but it's pretty nice as I recall. This one is not that one, but I am going to take the teeniest bit, and this is actually too much, and put this under my eyes. And it's a great primer because it's so dimethicone-y. I tried this a couple of times and found that my concealer went over it really well, but you don't want to do a lot of it. So probably this much, I'm not flipping you off, between both eyes. I really did rub off a lot on this one. Watch. And it's white, we can say that without a doubt. Let's see how much it fades. I'm going to give it 15 minutes and we'll be back in a snap. Alright, I am back, and this has been on for a solid 15 minutes. Do you pet lovers ever feel like there is dog or cat hair like sticking to you somewhere? It's not like I didn't just wash my face, but you just sit down on the sofa and sometimes pet hair, you don't see it, but it goes flying into the air. And you see it like in the morning, like when I make my bed, and there's a window that's kind of high and gets that morning light through it. And I just kind of made the bed and I saw all this little dog hair. So I feel like I have some hairs here. The clumping has not abated. I'm going to move in instead of changing my frame and just show you some stuff going on the chin, right here particularly. It's not the smoothest ride in the park. We could just kind of go over it with a beauty blender. I'm sure I'm taking some of it off, but yeah. On the nose, the forehead. It's just not the smoothest thing in the world. This is definitely not something that you put on and not put foundation over. I don't want to get too much on this. So let's go in with the Reboot. Now the Reboot is what I've been using with everything, but I have a lot of white, so we'll see if we have any luck with this. Usually 2 pumps will do it. I have a feeling I'm going to need more than that. And I usually do it with my fingers. Geez, I love this foundation. I love the way it smells. I love everything about it. Thank you, Makeup Forever, for making this. I think if you're going to use a foundation that is not full coverage over this, you should probably try to use something a little bit darker than your skin tone because that white will come through. I recently got the Bronzini from, I think it's called Bronzini, from Drunk Elephant, and put that in one of my foundations, and I just put a pump in, but I had been using a little sample where I just dab my finger in the sample and put it on. It was extraordinarily dark. I think I use that actually for my skincare at night video. Let's see what's going on here. Doesn't look too bad. I mean, I did brush out my eyebrows, but there's still some white around there, so you're just going to have to be careful with this one. And it's not laying down perfectly. Right here, it's a little streaky. Right here, I just had to unstreak it. It's like it hasn't settled in. And it does feel a little bit like the two are blending together. Now on my neck, it's really same thing. It's just not good looking. I'm just going to rub it in more with my fingers. Okay. I don't think I'm looking all that good. So, and I'm tempted to put on a little more foundation, but I'm not sure if that's just going to make it worse or not. And I'm also kind of tempted to put a teeny bit of bronzini in it. So I am going to do that. Let me get my bronzini. De-bronzy. And shake this up because it's pretty liquid. And don't do a full pump. So I'm just going to do 2 pumps. I'm probably not going to use it, but just because I'm doing this. And I'm going to try to do just half pump. And let's put some on the neck too, since the neck looks super white. Put some on the Beauty Blender and then do a little pounce. My Beauty Blender is very lightly damp. Actually, this looks better. I was afraid it would look worse. Just gonna step in. I know it's weird that I don't move my lens, but I'd have to get up this high to move the lens anyway, and I'd never get it right back in the same place. And since we're here, and I showed you that little trick with the under eyes, I'm just going to go in with my concealer and we'll see how that worked. This is the Laura Mercier. It's really good under the eye stuff. Now, I think I'm going to do the same thing I did on last Saturday, where I'm going to come back hours from now. I'm not starting very early today. It's 10:30, but I'm not going to come back quite as late, hopefully, than I did last Saturday. Maybe I'll come back around 3 when the light's a little bit better and you can get an idea of what's going on, and we'll see how the under eyes look, because that might be a trick you want to incorporate in your program. But so far I'm going to say this is not cosmetically elegant, and it's difficult to blend it in a smooth way. I did, I believe, finally get a really smooth look, but I had to use twice the amount of foundation that I normally use, and that's, you know, something to consider. And I had to compensate for the whiteness here by deepening up my foundation just a little bit with this. So there's another product. Hi guys, it is Friday and I'm editing this, and I have found that I've lost the footage where I was coming back to you. And that's kind of okay, because I also discovered something in the days since I shot this, and I think I probably shot this on Monday. So I haven't done my sunscreen yet. We're going to do this again, and I'm going to show you something kind of interesting. So it was 8 pumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just going to do 5, and that was probably too much, probably 4. And I'm going to add to it this. I don't love this. It's the Sunscreen SPF 50 plus PA+++ mild watery light. And the reason I don't like this is it tends to not respond well with my skincare and almost always balls up. But I want to use it. It's very inexpensive. If you don't have a problem with your skincare, it might be great for you. But I found that when I mix them together, and I don't remember my ratio, that it didn't look white. So give me a minute. We're going to get there, I hope. But it did have a little pilling. But again, that just could be my skincare. Let's just go for it. Since this video is verging on being too long. Okay, so the ratio wasn't right for illustrating what I did the other day. But I will say this, it's a lot less white than it was the other day, and if I did a half and half ratio, I think we'd be in good shape. That's a lot better, you guys. Wow. I have a different setting today, and I look positively blue in my monitor. Yay. Let me change that. So I have different lights on today, and because they are blue spectrum, which is natural sunlight is supposed to be blue, I feel like I'm looking super blue. So I just changed the setting, and I still don't look like what I'm seeing in here, but what is important is when you mix this, it's not so bad, and it's not, it's a little clumpy. Look at that. Clump. But not as clumpy. If you use the correct amount, which is a 1/4 teaspoon for your face and neck, it's tough. It's a little clumpy, it's super white. You do have to compensate by darkening up your foundation, but if you mix it with something else, like I did this today, it's not as white. There's a little bit of, just a little bit of whiteness going on, but nowhere near as bad as this is on its own. So let's just, since I'm here, let's just throw in some Reboot and see what happens. I'm so sorry about this setting, you guys. I have a feeling when I'm looking on my computer screen, it looks really red. But it looked really blue before. So if I'm going to use these bulbs, I've got to figure out a different setting that's a little more warm to compensate. Oh, wait a minute. I have an idea. I'm going to put on some incandescent lighting, and that might balance it out. And yeah, the combination of these two are really giving me a fresh, dewy look, maybe a little too dewy. I don't mind it, honestly, but some people might want to powder it. Let me make a light adjustment so you can see. Pretty close, I think, to what I'm seeing. And yeah, if this is something that you have, that you love the ingredients for and you want to make work, but it's just not working because of all the whiteness, maybe putting in something like this will work for you. And the finish is pretty nice. Otherwise, I would have to say I won't be purchasing this again. It's just too difficult. And it goes on, it feels nice, it doesn't feel drying when it goes on. For me personally, I find it a touch drying because I'm sure, I really am, I haven't seen a doctor, but I'm pretty sure I'm quite sensitive to zinc and I find it to be drying. But there you have it, you guys. That's my Saturday sunscreen for today. I know it's a little weird. Sorry I lost the footage, but glad that I came up with a second combo for you that is a little bit more workable. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me. I hope this was helpful to you, and I hope you come back again. In the meantime, be safe and smart, and I am wishing you good health. Bye.